Oh my goodness. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Welcome everyone to my podcast, Master Your Emotion and Find Your Truth. Like always, at the beginning, for everyone, I'm just only giving a little bit tiny information about the angels number. So if you found this video, if you found this podcast today, so it's number 33. It's a beautiful number, Trinity number. I love that number. That's a creation number. That number is about the evolution. That number is about any kind of the sign from your angels. So if you see, if the 3 3 appearing in front of you, I don't know, maybe outside, on the car, on the street, wherever you're going to see that number, that's mean you need to take a small step, a kind of the baby step, but you don't have to worry too much because your angel, your spirit guides, whatever you're going to call, they are standing close to you. Even if you don't see them, they are always with you. So pay attention on that message because the angels would like to connect with you. So maybe today you can go for the short or maybe deep meditation. You can ask them for the question, for the answer, for the message, which one they carry for you. So definitely, if you are drawn to do more research around the angels number or any kind of numerology, there's a plenty of the information online. It's a plenty. So I'm inviting everyone to go there and have a look. But today is my beautiful day. Actually, for everyone, it's beautiful. Actually, it's the day 23 and 23. We've got oh, wow, I didn't see that. By the way, so I've got a beautiful guest today, beautiful soul. I hope, I don't want to use this word hope. Uh, I'm sure I'm going to pronounce your name very nicely. If not, just please correct me. So I've got a beautiful soul, Damien, who is a pioneer, international business consultant, coach, consciousness hacker, and awareness teacher. If I missed something, please add a little bit more about yourself. Welcome, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you, Gabriela, and thank you everyone for opening this space as well for this time to reconnect with ourselves deeper. Just a little snippet of where I'm from and where I've
Yes,
been at.
please.
So I'm Irish, and I had intuition as a child, and I was blocking it. And I kept blocking it and sabotaging it. And it came true later when I was at the age of 30. I was drawn to go to a healer. I didn't realize it was a healer. This person worked on me, and then a channel opened up. And then it happened overnight. And then the next day, he was French, he was very pushy. He says, you have gifts. And I was like, it was so strong about saying it. He was like, you work on me, and I accepted to work on him. I didn't know what he was saying by saying, you can support me. And when I went to support him or open the space for it, I had no idea what I was doing. Suddenly I saw these like library of records. Now I realized it was the Akashic records coming down into the room. And I had this knowing in my system saying, I know this, but I have to remember and I have to practice. And I was very much in the business world at that stage. I had different businesses, and I just got this thing saying, this is my way. This is what I'm here to do. And I'll let everything go. And I was like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I went to my accountant. Okay, I want to finish everything. I want to close it up. It didn't work that way.
No.
To close the system up and to complete everything, which was perfect. I needed to do that before I started this journey. And then when I started this journey, I also, William was his name, who activated me. I was like, I need a teacher. And I went to his teacher, and his teacher sort of like got the message saying he wasn't allowed to teach me. And I had to, and that was the story of my whole experience, was that I needed to find something myself, would experience it, and then the teacher would come along. It's like the message would come from the outside then. So I started to develop, or different techniques came down over the years where I would work on the body. And the first technique it was a bit like acupuncture, about 110 points of the body. And I would them, and then people would have, realizations and transformations and that. And it started to progress from there, and I started to teach then what I was doing, because I believe everybody can do it in their own way. It's just about remembering and activating. So Spirit was guiding me to clear blockages in people and to reactivate their gifts, their true potential. So over the last, I don't know, 20 years now, I think it is, or yeah, 20 years or more. It's amazing. I've been teaching and working with groups around the world. And now I'm living I live between Greece and Kenya at the moment. So what I do, the foundation of the work I do is a cellular shift. So I work very much with the cellular information. It's about embodiment of spirit in the cells. So I bring in, so what's been coming through is different methods or different ways to work with the genetics, how to reset the cells, how to deprogram from the system, from trauma, from sabotage, from ancestral belief systems. So you were talking about in the message about emotions, and really a lot of the emotions in our system doesn't belong to us. They're from the ancestors and from early trauma in early childhood. So for me, it's about releasing these conditions or these programs from our systems and bringing consciousness to where they're from. And what's beautiful is, when I first started this work, I had no idea what was going on. Now I probably only know about 2% of what's happening, but that 2% makes a difference because there's something always great happening within the system, And being here in Greece, it's interesting. I'm directly in front of the Parthenon at the moment. Greece taught me about systems and to realize that everything is systems, and there's systems for a relationship, there's systems for health, there's systems for healing, there is systems for everything. So I started the spirit was guiding me to the ancient knowledge, which is an active blueprint of our personalities, of our wounds, of our systems, and then how to align ourselves with ourselves again. So what I started to do was I was working with the different archetypes of, the divine feminine, divine masculine, and to align them back into that blueprint, to activate that blueprint within our systems. So what I perceive, or the way I do, for example, most wounds are created from the womb up to the age of 16. Systems close around 16. And after that, you will reactivate the old wounds. Not unless it's something very heavy to create new wounds. And so that would mean in daily life, the systems are opening. I'm sitting here just in front of an ancient theater. Now, the theater was always there beside Asclepius' temple, because that was, to heal, you need to open systems.
That's true.
Okay. So the temple was always there with music, with drama, to open up the emotions of the people. And once the emotions are open, then you can heal them. So daily life interactions are rocky, but it's needed in the system because that's how you activate and open up what's in your system. Your system will only open what you can handle. So when we dissociate, or when we're overwhelmed with emotions, it could be as well. For example, I work a lot with genetics. So the genetics for me is about, I have my birthplace. My birthplace is, I'm the son of my biological mom. My biological mom would be on the left-hand side behind me. I'm the son in front of her.
Yeah.
And the biological dad would be behind me on the right side. And the son, okay? So this way, my DNA can flow. If I'm adopted, it's okay. The parents who brought me up can be like parents, but they're not my blood parents. But even if you don't know who your parents are, that's okay because your spirit knows. So it's about accessing your DNA. So I started to be shown by spirit how to clear the DNA patterns, because the trauma of my ancestors is in my system. And as I said before, I'd say 90% of our emotions, our feelings and all that, what's in our system, we think it's our own, but it's actually belonged to the ancestral information. And especially at the moment, there's a lot of very strong frequency coming down to Earth at the moment. And this is activating very old information from the trauma from the ancestral lines. We feel very impactful as our own, but a lot of it belongs to the ancestors. So that's why I work very much with ancestral clearing. And for me, I always see it like, to make it simple, it's almost like when a topic opens, I see like a mound of sand in front of me. And I say, okay, I'm little piece of this sand belongs to my mom's line, a little piece of the sand belongs to my dad's line, a little piece of the sand belongs to my womb experience, and then through my childhood, okay? And then you feel that the emotions are getting calmer. And then a little bit of sand belongs to my past lives, okay? And then you'll feel that the energy gets less because now you've allowed energy to go back to the origin. For me, it's about the key thing is to find the origin, and doing that very simple exercise to allow whatever energy is open in you to consciously go back to mom's line if it belongs there, consciously it belongs to dad's line, consciously back to the womb, to birth, up to now. And you will feel this energy dissipating, and you'll start embodying more. So your partner will bring up, for example, if you're in a relationship, always the partner is the most dangerous in the system because the partner you let into the inner heart chamber. And the partner will activate all the childhood wounds, core wounds. So they're the most dangerous to us in a way, and we have the most guarded protection to them. But the partner can really help us reunite with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why can I just stop you for a second? So that's why I would like to say, yeah, that's a blessing. So I'm not saying like I just said, maybe kind of the danger, because from the human perspective, it's a kind of the danger, like a survivor. I just want you run away and just when you go coming and just when you fight. But like that's kind of the blessing we've done, and we sign up that contract. But I would like to just only stop here, and because you just only said about the ancestors' healings, and what do you mean by it? Because that's so many people just only associate the ancestors' healing is like a mother, father, auntie, grandmother, grandfather. But how about the ancestors, like a collective consciousness? So yeah, could you tell a little bit more, because that also is impacting.
Absolutely, it is. Yes. So the reason I would work with the ancestors is because their genetic experiences, especially around trauma, is in your system. It's in your DNA subconsciously. So this is affecting the way we live our relationships and the way we make choices in life. For example, if there was a war in the back, in the ancestral line, that information will be passed on. Okay. Even if there was a grandma, I've worked with a whole family who none of them got married because grandma had said, men are no good, don't marry men, they're only good for having children. So that was blocking all the children from going into a relationship because grandma's system was so traumatized by her own personal relationship. So she passes that genetic information on. So as we're the child of the ancestors, we have the right and the power to change genetic information. We can change everything because we're the creators, and that's why we're here. To the ancestral topics are the ones they couldn't resolve themselves. Now, what's a little bit confusing sometimes is that it will skip a generation. So a lot of my imprints will not come from my mom, they'll come from my grandma, my granddad. So that's where we keep looking at mom and dad and looking there, but actually, no, it's further back. A lot of time it's further back. So how is it affecting us? There's a collective ancestral belief system or experience within our systems. And if there's rage from the ancestors, that's going to be in me, and that rage will come up, but a lot of it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the ancestors. So when you open up the consciousness that these energies can go back to the origin, then you'll feel the energies get less and less. And as we're becoming more enlightened in a way, more aware of who we are, we can do this consciously by taking self-responsibility to say, okay, whatever my partner, as you say, opens up, it's a blessing because my partner will open up what's in my system. Okay. And my partner wasn't in my childhood. So what's my partner's opening up in me belongs to my childhood or belongs to my ancestors' childhood. Okay. So whatever I opened up in my partner belongs to my partner and his or her childhood. Okay.
Yeah.
So that way it sort of will give you space to resolve whatever's in the system and also your personal relationship with your partner. So mom for me represents Mother Earth. grounding, birthing, creation. Dad represents, excuse me, the connection with me as a creator, that I'm a creator. Okay, so if I have a father topic, usually it's blocking my channel. If I have a mom topic, it's usually blocking my grounding, birthing on earth. So by allowing yourself to work with your mom's topic within you, between you and your mom, or you and your dad, and resolving them, it's helping you to find yourself and reunite with you as the creator. We have incredible intuition that we don't always listen to. And the intuition is sharp. It's the divine connection guiding us, our higher self guiding us, telling us. But because of our conditioning, we don't always listen to that. And then that will take us off on another course. So a very simple way to work with that would be to say, okay, I honor my intuition was correct, and I honor I made a different choice because I was afraid of what people thought of me, I was looking embarrassed, or I didn't feel I had the right. So by allowing yourself the inner knowing that, yes, there is a point where before I did a webinar on it last weekend, actually. So it's the points in life where we feel we went off course. Even if we go off course, it's a human experience, so that's really positive as well. But if you go back and reflect and say, okay, before I made that decision, I'm sure there was a part where your intuition was telling you not to do it. And if you go back to the point of the intuition and you accept, okay, I didn't listen to you and you were right, you are 100% right, but I didn't listen to you. And if you accept that part of your intuition was right, in the quantum field, you're there already. So you've cleared the trauma, you've cleared the system already. So you've realigned the timeline back to your wholeness, back to yourself.
Yeah, how do people really know? How do people, because sometimes they think, what is the intuition? How I know that intuition is talking to me? There are lots of people are really caught up in that, how can I say, that analogy around the ego. The ego is wrong. They're using that word is wrong, is not really good for me, or something like that. From my point of view, the ego is not really wrong. It's not really not good for you. It depends how you can see and how you can how you can feel it and how you can manage that ego and how you can integrate that ego for your highest I would like to say benefit. So how the people can recognize that's intuition talking to me, or just only having the different perspective around the ego? That's really crucial now, because a lot of people, like a spiritual community, sometimes I would like to say not really fake, but it's like a bypassing spirituality word. I would like to say they're saying the ego is not good. The ego, just remove the ego forever.
So for me, the ego is there for a reason. So the ego is a manifestation of wounds from my childhood or from my ancestors' childhood. Okay, so there's trauma in the system, and that's what splits us away from ourselves. So for me, it's very important to accept without judgment my own ego, and to see it that if it's active, it means I've dissociated from myself. Okay, so the ego is formed from splits away from myself, my wholeness, and those splits are usually my childhood. So I can't judge the child. You know, the child just wants to be accepted, felt, not even told what to do, accepted and felt. That's all. So if I feel my mind or my ego active, I simply observe it and accept that it's active. Okay, I don't have to give the energy of the story power. If I push it away, it'll get stronger. Okay, so what I do is I always accept where I'm at. I accept my mind's active. I accept I've got reactions in my system, emotions in my system, and I'm accepting everything that's in this space here and now, because it's here for a reason.
Yeah.
Behind the ego is going to bring me back to the part of my soul that I disconnected from. So it's crucial. So for me, it's always allowing the noise that's affecting me on the outside and the inside, and I accept it's present in this time and space. And when you accept everything that's present in this time and space without judgment, you're going to drop into that still space within you, and that is your connection with yourself. That's your intuition. So by accepting, I got resistance, I'm rageful, I'm judging, or I accept I can't release the judgment, I accept it feels impossible to change, I accept I feel I'm left behind, I accept I feel abandoned, I accept I don't want to be in this fucking body, all these things. If I can accept all those parts, before you know it, you will feel that reunite with that stillness within you. So we all have that space within us, which is the still space, and where the magic happens. This is creation. And that is by going to a state of acceptance of what is, and to accept as well where we're at. A lot of people are talking about positive thinking and affirmations. For me, it's just to accept where I'm at. If I go into a positive affirmation without accepting where I'm at, I'm going to bring where I'm at to that positive affirmation. So it's first to accept, yeah, there's some rage in me, there's some maybe abuse in me, there's sabotage in me, there's conditioning in me. So I'm simply accepting where I'm at. And then I can bring my vision of where I'd like to go, because my compass now is getting aligned with self.
Yeah, that's completely, you said it beautifully, because acceptation is a major step for most of the human. And that kind of the vision just came to me when we've been talking about, like, I just knew we can wear, not maybe not wear, we can tidy up the room, and we can cover all the rubbishes about the beautiful, putting on the top the beautiful carpet with the beautiful flowers. It could be any kind of maybe really, really high quality. But when you're going opening, when you lifted up that carpet, there's a lot of rubbish, lots of dust, and oh my goodness, that's a 100 years old, maybe trauma is living there. So we have to go inside ourselves and just only find our own truth about our being, our where we come from. So can you talk a little bit more about the authenticity? So how to be authentic, and how we can find our own truth, or how we can find ourselves, whatever it comes to you.
So for me, the world is a representation of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever in the world, for example, is triggering me or is coming up that I'm being, that's a concern for me, what's happening in the world at the moment, there's misuse. That is showing me there's some misuse in me that I haven't accepted. So I always see, if you can really go to a state of acceptance that, there's a greater power here, intelligence here, that's with me all the time, that's guiding me all the time. And when you really can accept that there's something holding me all the time, it's like guiding me, and that will bring me experiences, which then will help me go closer to finding myself, to being with myself. Even if it's a bumpy experience, it's showing me there's something inside me. So I feel that it's about really giving yourself space. If you feel yourself out of alignment or just too much emotions going open if you feel, for example, if you feel overwhelmed usually for me indicates that I've stepped into somebody else's genetic place. So maybe I'm being the mom for somebody else or the dad for somebody else, but I'm not their genetic dad or mom. I can be like a mom, I can be like a dad for somebody, but I cannot be their biological genetic mom if I'm not. If I step in the genetic place of somebody else, my system's overwhelmed. I can handle what belongs to me, but I cannot handle what belongs to others. So if you're taking care of a child, you can, which isn't yours, you can be like the mom, like the dad. If your mom, for example, is getting elderly or maybe Alzheimer's or something, she can be like a child, but you're always going to be her child. Because if you switch to being the mom for your child, your system's overwhelmed and the whole family will react to you, because now you've jumped in the wrong genetic place.
Yeah, and then we are passing to our children. If you've got the children, if somebody got the children, and there will be another generation, another generation.
You've disconnected the system. Yeah, it's like a river with a stone in it. You blocked the flow of frequency, and the children, your children will be missing this flow or connection with their, their ancestors.
Yeah, so that, yeah, I would like to add something really crucial for somebody who is watching, guys. So it's really important to do the work on yourself if you've got the children, especially if you've got the children. Just when you think about not just only about yourself, but about your grandchildren, if they're going to decide one day having them, or just when we would like to give your child the best, because I'm a mother, so I've got the two beautiful kids, and I decided 15 years ago, actually that was my waking time, to do my inner work. I've been called, actually I asked my spirit guide when I was 16, just show me the way, I would like to unravel everything. And boom, after when I gave her first birth, the spirit said, okay, now it's time. I said to why? Because I've got a 1 month old baby and you would like to me do the work on myself now. I need to look after the baby. Anyway, that was a crazy time, but they know what they're doing and they know I can manage that stuff. So I'm just only inviting everyone to do the inner work, especially that kind of the things when we are passing, like you just say, generation by generation. And how we know we just only inherit something from our ancestors, how we know it's not ours.
By Well, first, everything has to be aligned with where you're at. So it's like every time it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So, just one thing I want to bring in, because I think this is really important because you
Please,
children.
if you feel it, yeah.
So what can be confusing, and I see it a lot, is where there's more conscious moms and dads coming in,
Mm-hmm.
is to honor that your children are full of information belong to the ancestors. Okay? They're not born blank slate and you're responsible for programming them fully. Okay? You can guide them and inspire them through the storm or through life, but you're not responsible for what's in their ship fully. Okay? Not everything. Okay? So, if you feel your son or daughter is bringing up a certain aspect which is playing out in their lives, it may not always be from you. It came through you, but it could be from grandma or grandpa, okay, or the great grandparents. So you are not fully responsible for all the conditioning and programming which is in your children. So you can be super conscious and there may be still things playing out in your kids, but you didn't bring it through, but it was in the system from the genetics. And when you are open to seeing that it's true, like it's very true what you said about like when you're a mom, and maybe the one I work with a lot with moms, when they're pregnant and the child is saying, I don't want to experience that, clear that for my mom, clear it for my mom, and the children are directing the session. So there is a lot of things we can resolve. Now, if we resolve something in the system, it will help the children also have a different experience, that they don't need that experience, and you can reset their experience. And you can really, if if there's a genetic illness or something in the system, I worked with people who made a decision saying, I'm not bringing this through. I'm stopping this right here. This stops with me.
Yeah.
Okay? So the genetics you can change. You can change personality. You can change many different levels of our system. When you become conscious of what's in your system, face it, and accept to make a new choice in the system. So you can change your genetics completely. You can change everything in your system when you become conscious of it. Yeah. So the intuition is something I feel that with practice of meditation or going for a walk in the forest or being beside the ocean, this for me can be the meditation. Some people like to sit still, some people like to go for a walk, some people may want to play an instrument. This is opening the space to connect and remember your own connection with self. So everybody will be finding their own way to reunite with that part or remember that part. And in the early stages, I know I found it very difficult to sit still, because there was a lot of stuff in my system. So for me, it was through sports or being by the sea or being in nature. This would help me remember, because the codes of nature, of creation is in me. So when I'm in a forest, I'm submerging myself with the nature codes, and I start getting reunited with them. And the more I'm submerging myself walking in that forest, the more I will start reuniting with this natural intuition, which is in my system already. If I'm making myself busy in the city and the noise, and I don't make space out of the noise, then I will maybe keep running in that. I can still be in the city. Like, I like to meditate in the underground, for example, or in noisy places, because for me, that still space is in me all the time. And it's like, and I practice to be in the underground or on a bus or in a busy room or a bar or a restaurant, and still connect to that still space and observe all the different information or music around. It's like life is like music and listening without judging. So your intuition is when you can be listening to the music. I can hear a car outside. I can hear people outside. So I'm not judging it, but I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
So I can hear the noise of the computer. So I'm not judging it, but I'm hearing it. So intuition for me is the ability to accept all what is here in this space now as music, without attachment to the judgment. And this way, I will reunite with the natural flow of life, of creation, and I'm in flow and resonance, and I'm being guided. And the more I can be aware of that noise or that what's happening around me by simply being in it, in the center of the storm, if it is, it's stillness, creation, then I will be more present in it, and I will get more comfortable to be in it. So it's about being comfortable in the unknown. Our systems are programmed not to be in that state because it wants to control, because it wants to, which is not bad. It protected us, because it protected me because I needed to be protected.
Yeah, that's kind of the ego was designed for us, just on protecting, but we've got the power to have a choice, like a free will to send to this or maybe not to that.
So exactly. So we are designed to sit in our patterns, be comfortable in our patterns, but not in creation, because creation is the void of the unknown.
So how we can step to the unknown without any tears, which are being just only projecting on us all the time?
I constantly am almost saying to my system, I'm okay. I'm okay that I don't know who I am. I'm okay that I don't know how this day will play out. I'm okay, and I make a choice to sit in this creation. I see it more as, I see my system as constantly as a visionary. I see myself as that I'm in flow, that I'm in always like an artist, like creating and trying new things and flowing. And it's almost like I'm in a river, but I'm not touching the edges. I'm observing the system. It's flowing. And when it gets bumpy, I'm being guided. So for me, it's about getting comfortable in the unknown. And when I wake up in the morning, like if I feel my nervous system, the nervous system wants to keep you in the knowing, or what it knows, the old
Yeah.
And I say to the nervous system, it's okay. It's okay. I choose to be in this pain. I choose to be in this moment, even if it's uncomfortable. I choose to sit into it. And you can train your system to get used to that. We have an automatic, dissociation part in our system, because
Yeah.
child, I couldn't leave the room. So I need to get out of the body. So when we are frequency and vibration, so maybe I feel a frequency of maybe anger coming and I dissociate and I don't even realize I'm dissociating because it's an automatic switch in my system. So if you can catch yourself and say, oh, wow, I'm out of my body, I'm dissociated, okay? So that means that a frequency where I dissociated in my childhood is after opening up around me, or somebody has it who's with me at the moment. That's why I'm dissociated. So that's related to somewhere in my childhood where I needed to get out of the body. So first of all, thank you for getting me out and saving me and allowing me to survive all this time.
So how people do we know? Because so many of people just when they're coming to me and just saying to me, I would like to just only recap. Maybe they understand much more easier. So sometimes they had the feeling, I was out of my body. I was my body was sitting, but my conscious was somewhere. Or maybe they've called them some kind of the experience. Like they've got a disease in their head, and their head is spinning around. So how you can describe this? Because for me, it's something like that. When you've got but like you just said, you're supposed to stay in this room. You don't have a choice, or actually you've got a choice, but they thinking they don't have a choice to get up and just only go outside. So they are just only choosing to stay with the body, but they're floating away. They are disappearing from the body. So is that possible? And how you can
So it's first, as I said, if you dissociate, it means that there's something that's after activating in your present state or your present environment, which is related to a trauma that's related to your childhood or your ancestors' childhood. So with that acceptance and consciousness, then your system will sort of calm down because you realize this is actually a frequency is related to my childhood. Now, I'm an adult. I'm not that child. So I can leave the room if I want.
Yeah, that
So,
happens.
or I can say, stop, it's enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm reuniting with myself. Okay. So my subconsciousness does not know that I'm an adult, it thinks I'm the 5-year-old in the room.
Yeah.
Because
He doesn't know anything.
the
No
subconscious
time.
has no time and space. It's all the one. So when something opens up, if I feel someone's aggressive in front of me and I have experienced aggression in my childhood, I'm back. My subconsciousness is protecting me because it's like, well, Damien's in the 5-year-old room again with somebody freaking out there. So get out of the body. Okay. So if I'm aware my subconsciousness is back there and say, okay, and I say to my system and my nervous system, my subconscious say, it's okay. I realize what's going on. I realize that I'm staying. This time I make a choice. I make a choice to stay in the body because I can handle it. And I can leave this room or I can stop this immediately, but I'm not leaving my body. Okay.
Yes.
So then you will start training your system not to be so reactive of dissociation or being aware you're dissociating and without judging that you're dissociating because you're connecting to what's in the here and now. If this dissociation, it gives you the opportunity to transform what's in your system, whatever trauma is in your system, by staying with it, by accepting to stay with it, by being conscious that you are dissociating, by not forcing yourself to come back in, but simply the consciousness will start aligning your system to heal what's in your system.
That's true. Yeah.
So you will automatically almost discover yourself again or remember yourself. It's like the system will start responding in a different way. It takes a few times, but when you do keep practicing it, your nervous system starts to get more familiar and more accepting of you and starts really you can sit more in your system.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why you start evolving on your consciousness level. You're much more aware who you truly are inside you, and just only you're responsible for your choices at the moment. Yeah. And you are embracing and you start loving your inner child. So start looking after your inner child. Oh, that's amazing. I love that stuff. How can okay, so when you start observing and when you start become much more adult, much more mature, because like at the consciousness level, which is only we start our emotions, that was a stuckness, that was a blockages, we numb our emotions to the program anyway. That's we know the ancestors, and that's all the system we have been living through dimension world, and that so much, so much. But how we can help ourselves in the easy, quickest, or maybe not quickest way, but the easy way, so not harm too much our body, mind, and spirit.
Uh, First, because you mentioned the inner child, I would say
Oh
always
yeah,
the
for a
inner,
reason. I don't know. That's came.
always no, always with the it's important. So the inner child for me, I need in my life
Mm,
because my inner child is where my value, where my intuition, where my gifts are. I need my inner child in my life.
yeah. So we need to, yeah, start loving much more ourselves and just only have a look. Because from my point of view, from how I can see that stuff, and lots of people who is watching us, they don't know really what is the inner child. They don't know if they're reacting or responding. Responses, that's beautifully because that's sign that you're growing and you're evolving. You're aware of your trauma, you're aware of your wounds. But the reaction is like a kind, you need to go and do that inner child work. So can you tell a little bit more about the inner child?
Yeah, the inner child is so first of all, our soul as an essence is creative, is curious,
Mhm.
is, you know, really, yeah, connected in a really pure way, and is in and as our child, as we were a child, we start feeling, I don't know, rage around us and start dissociation. We start splitting from ourselves. So then we start being ignored or ignoring the child or putting it away. I'm too busy, you know. So then the child gets angry and frustrated and rage and feels abused. So for me, the inner child work is crucial for connecting to self. It's like the core of us. Okay. So for me, when I connect, okay, to anybody, I accept the wounds of the child. I
Mhm.
accept the presence of the child. I know the child is needed in the system. I'm aware also that there's a greater being here. I'm aware there's topics here. So when I connect with somebody, I'm connecting on all levels with no judgment. It's like the music. So I'm accepting the music of the inner child's creativeness. I'm accepting the tears, the frustration, the anger, the resentment,
Yeah.
the abuse. I'm accepting their qualities. I'm accepting the soul mission. I'm accepting the contracts. I'm accepting the ancestral contracts, which that child has chosen to clear from the system. I'm accepting the galactic consciousness and contracts, which are here to resolve the human experience. So I'm accepting the wholeness of the being, the oneness of that being. So when I connect with somebody with that level of consciousness, that I'm connecting to all levels of the person, then I'm going to bring that out.
Okay.
If I only connect on the wounds of the inner child, then I'm going to be in that system. Now, the inner child's wounds is a hole that will never be filled. And then it'll drop frequency. I'm in victimhood consciousness. The child is creation. The child is eternal. The child is beauty, is sacred, is the divine, and is needed, as I say, in the core of the system. So, and the child has wounds, but I know the child is more than that as well. So I say when I connect with somebody, I'm connecting on all levels at once, so I can bring out always all levels at once. You know, the highest for that person. Creation is the Fibonacci code, so it'll always bring us to higher frequency.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge what's in the system. So for me, the deeper I go into my system, the higher I go. Not the higher I go up, the higher I go in, the higher because the universe is in my cells, it's in my system, it's in my genitals, you know. So the more I go in, the higher frequency I become.
Yeah, I would like to stop here because I don't know if you watched the movie Lucy, and she said, "Oh, that's a maybe I'm going to share later on." But anyway, that was a beautiful word because at the end of this movie, she just only dissolving, and somebody asked her, "Where are you?" And she said, "I'm everywhere." So that's why just your word reminds me we are everywhere. So we are going where we're going to the nature, where we're going to thinking my everywhere. So where we're going to the nature and just only feeling, we start feeling the trees, the grass, and we are blending. I've got that feeling every time when I just only step into the forest and I just only walking close to the lakes. I'm just kind of like a blending. I didn't see myself as a separation, but this is the work we have to do inside ourselves because without the work in, we couldn't connect outside, to be honest. To see that beauty, actually not see and feel, definitely feeling that beauty. That's amazing. So because I don't know if you see that picture, and some people just when you're watching us now, about the inner child, that was the lots of online pictures. Like the inner child is sitting, just only nearly, maybe no, they had a knee close to the chest, and that's another vision around another figure of the mother is above, and another figure, and I don't know if you know what I mean. It's like a kind of the Russian dolls. So they
Exactly.
go the in. Oh, maybe that's a lot of people will be recognize this because the Russian doll is like in. So that's the inner child is inside. So we've got another line, another. That we are going the creation, and that's wow, that's amazing. So the people will be maybe understand much more better.
So yeah, we are the ocean inside us is the water, you know, it's like the stars are within us, the stardust is within us, the
Yeah.
minerals. So when you drop in cellularly, that's why I worked very much I am very interested in the cellular information. So the cellular information, when you drop into the cells, you'll actually reunite with the universe within you, creation within you. So this state of oneness is within you already. And you start to align with that. So as we dissolve the programming from our systems, or accepting the programming in our system, simply accepting, then you'll start remembering and realigning with that state within you, and you immerse into it, and then you become it. So for me, it was always key to find the blueprint of creation, the purest form of creation, which is the forest. It's simple nature. Nature is the simplest, you know, to look up at the sun, and it's sunrise, sunset, you know, that's helping you remember that soul, my soul. So the simple things, there's not much to do. It's the simple actions, the simple moments of reuniting with yourself, whatever that takes. If it's through music, if it's looking at the sunset, if it's meditation, if it's dancing, whatever it is, or going for that walk in the park, whatever it is, that is doing it for you, you know, that's helping you reunite with that state.
So is
Remember,
that carry on? Sorry.
I remember years ago when I lived in Berlin, and I'm not much into the cold, to be honest. And I remember it was during the winter, and a friend of mine used to say, "Oh, another day in paradise," you know. And I said, "Oh, that's really nice. Let's try that." And I was like saying it, and I was like, "David, this is like, no, don't believe this." So it is. So I was walking with my dog outside, and I said, "Okay, let's find to Damien in a moment what is paradise for Damien in the moment." And then I'd say, I don't know, a bird or something. Wow, you know, I'd stay in the moment with that bird and the connection, and I feel I have a connection in that moment with that bird. I feel
Wow.
a rush through my system.
Oh, wow.
And then I say, wow, another day in paradise. And I'd get on with my day. So every day I would find those moments of another day in paradise. Okay. And what that was reconnecting with heaven on earth within me. Okay. So it was like activating my soul to accept that I am living heaven on earth already. Okay. And then my life started changing completely. I mean, completely. It's sort of funny what happened, because in the end, I ended up, I live in Mykonos as well in Greece, and it ended up that the house that I was drawn to buy directly in front of Apollo's temple was actually called Super Paradise.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know the address when we purchased it, but it's like almost like the creation moments of collected moments of me honoring where I am, accepting where I am, and accepting I am in paradise. Okay. So these moments are crucial for me, because it's bringing the information to creation, to the universe, that I accept in this moment, this split moment, I have a connection of purity, of wholeness, of satisfaction, because I'm feeling it, of emotions, of paradise, of feeling good in this moment, and I'm blessing it. Okay. So now I've completed a system of connection, feeling, emotions, vibration, love, acknowledging the love on the outside and the inside, and the feeling, the whole body experience of it, activation of it. So those moments for me are precious. And that's how I can remember or activate my soul, because that's who I am. So a simple way to daily practice, I'd invite everybody to find, we're busy, or, I know often, I'm in beautiful locations, and then people are taking a picture, but they're not with the moment. Okay. Now, for me, I call them soul pictures.
Yeah.
Soul picture is more crucial for me, because what do I take when I leave this body? I take all the moments with me. Okay. So this is the treasure of the experience of this journey, is to accept the moment of connection, the moment of connection we're having right here, right now. This is precious. We can never repeat this again. Even if we want to, we can never have this. We can never have this moment again. So I'm really honored that you're spending your moment with me, because you could have spent that time with somebody else, So this is a precious moment that we're having right here, right now. And I'm honoring that. And I'm so respectful to that moment, because time is precious in this body. It's unlimited. Of course, we're eternal beings, but when we're in this physical body, there is a timeline. So I'm honoring this precious moment we're having. And by that, I'm giving the information to the universe that I'm abundant, that I'm satisfied, that I'm grateful, that I'm in love. Okay. So that's the vibration I'm giving out to the system. So that means that everything in life from now on is abundance. I'm going to attract abundance. I'm going to attract love. I'm going to attract connection, because I have a connection in this moment with creation. So then there's moments of connection. And I remember then there was a point where, I started to trust more, to have connection with people. It was easier with nature and animals, but then when I started to do it, it sort of got me used to connecting with people, and as well, and having moments with people. So I'd be in a coffee shop and have a glance at the waiter or waitress, and we'd have a connection, I was like, I felt touched by the soul of the people then, these precious, just a glance across the street. That was a moment. I'm grateful. And then I started to connect with the soul, because now I'm connecting with the soul, the essence of the people, because I'm connecting to my own essence. So I will attract the connection of the soul with me now, because I'm connecting with my soul. It means that you also can unite with your soul. So when we have a connection, we're connecting on a soul level.
Okay, so can I stop you here? So I would like to just only clear up for my audience. So that means if you don't have a connection with yourself, you couldn't connect with other souls on the same level. Is that you would like to mean to tell to them? Because sometimes they're just only searching a lot of connection. They say, I don't have enough friends. I don't have enough people to coming, or just only talking. And then because like just when I'm sensing, they don't have a connection with themselves. They don't know how to connect with it truly who they are. And that's why they are not vibrating the same level of the people who they would like to be in the life. How is that?
So for me, it's about finding the ones who are connected already. And they are it's like quantum entanglement in physics, okay? So
Mm-hmm.
I can accept that I need to go into a state of acceptance that they are me. That if I see that in them, it's easier to see it in somebody else, a gift, than seeing it in yourself. So if I can accept that this person I'm inspired to, and I accept there's a gift there, okay, and I
Mm-hmm.
connect, then already your frequency has changed. So if you see a quality in somebody, I would say sit with it and acknowledge that quality that they have. Okay. Now, if you can acknowledge and be grateful and really honor that quality you can see only because it's in you already. And by sitting with that person or that musician or whatever it is, you will start remembering and accepting that's in you as well, and you'll become it. So you can consciously choose different to be around people or who have earned their gift. I would say earned their gift, not with the mind, but earned it. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm always inspired by people who have worked the system, worked a specific field. Okay, because if I connect with someone who's worked a system, I then can activate that within me too. So for me, you can consciously, if you don't have something in your genetics, you don't have it because your parents didn't have it to give to you, but you can find that somewhere else.
Yeah, you can apply it on yourself. You can take it. Yeah. But anyway, what I'm just only uh, believing inside me is something like that's intuitively coming. Is we've got a different gifts. Even our parents didn't give us, didn't pass us, didn't through the DNA. We are completely different. We're not our parent, mother and father child. We are the child of the creation, child of the God, universe, whatever you the people that I can name it. We've got a specific mission. So we came through our mother's womb, but we are not the mother child. I mean the child. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a
Conditioning of
yeah, we've been told we are just only mother, sorry, the child of the mother of the planet Earth, but it's really truly we are not. So when I just only told this stuff to my husband, and I said to him, "You're not the son of your mother," and he said, "No, why?" And then I explained him my perspective, and he said, "Okay, I'm open for that perspective." He never said, "Oh, it's good or bad," but he said, "I'm open for that perspective." So I wish everyone will be open for different perspectives. So they'll be allowing that information, that activation come very easily to the DNA or to the system.
Yeah, for me, it's like we are whole, and then we're born into this physical genetic place because we had a soul contract with the parents.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They help us remember who we are, usually by bashing the things that we forgot or we didn't want to accept about ourselves. So the genetics is important as well because it helps us remember or resolve issues which we came to resolve. At the same time, when we clear that conditioning, we are an incredible spirit here for another reason as well. And we have abilities that are in our system which are incredible. Like the value, I'm doing a webinar next weekend on value, because we undervalue ourselves, we underestimate ourselves. We're incredible creators. And one drop in the ocean can change the entire ocean and the
Yeah.
entire universe. And we are that drop. Each one of us are that drop. And as we resolve something within us, we're resolving it on the universal level too. So we are incredible creators, and we have incredible power and potency in our system, which if we fully go into it and acknowledge it, we can create a new reality and really create this heaven on earth here in the now, and go into new states of consciousness, because there's a part of you in the here and now that knows all this already.
Correct. Yes.
Fully whole already. which doesn't need to work on yourself because you're there already. There's a future self view which has resolved all this and knows all this information already, and you've access to that part of you right here, right now.
Yeah, that's wow. That could maybe another topic, maybe another podcast, because that's so vast. When we touch one, and we're just only going much more deeper and deeper and deeper. It's a human life is not enough to talk about this concept. That, oh my goodness, that's so too much wisdom, too much knowledge and information at once. That's a lot.
It's well, I feel the shift on the planet is we're able to go there. What's happening on the system at the moment on the planet is a breakdown of old systems which are not sustainable. So creation is sustainable. So the split from creation is not sustainable. So it's like a tree with different branches. These branches will implode. So creation, everything will bring us always back to creation. No matter what timeline we pick, it'll always bring us back to source. It'll always bring back to creation. And at the moment, I feel that people can handle a huge amount of transformational shift and clear massive amounts of information, which took years to work on. In a second, in a choice, we can activate on the soul level as a collective, individual first and as a collective. So I believe it's the time of miracles. I believe it's the time of transformation. It's a time of oneness. It's a time of reuniting and stepping out of old systems by choice to realize that I am a creator. I'm directly connected to source. I'm directly connected to the creator. I don't need anyone in between me and the creator because I am directly connected to creation already. I am the messenger of creation. I am the voice. I am the emotional body of creation, and creation is living within me and supporting me.
Yeah.
It's me, the whole thing. You are me. I am you. We're all interconnected, and we're all creation. And when I choose to stay aligned with creation, and even if I fall out of it, that's okay because that's part of the experience too. But I can make choices to align to who I am and step out of the conditioning of who I am.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I didn't ask this question actually physically, verbally, but I just only ask you that question mentally. So I'm just only telepathic is working like always for me. There's a kind of I would like to say to the audience, there's a kind of the support and kind of the steps you can do and follow your ascension process. So how you can look after yourself, what you have to do straight away. So Damien, beautifully said about it. Would you like to say a little bit more before we're going to wrap up our podcast? How we can be strong during that ascension process, during that changes, because that's the Schumann resonance is getting crazy, the solar flare, that's all the energy, and just only, I would like to say bombarding, that's not really a good word, but just only, we're just only feeling that beams of the energy on our body, mind, and spirit and soul.
For me, to be vulnerable. My strength is my vulnerability. So we've been programmed to think our vulnerability is a weakness. For me, the connection is my vulnerability. I can connect and I can feel you now because I'm in my vulnerability.
Okay.
So if I can get comfortable in my vulnerability, I am connected to creation and I am connected to life. So I see life like a puzzle. And when things get bumpy, as I said in the beginning, if I bring awareness that some of this bumpiness that's happening in my day right here, right now, is belong to my mom's side, my dad's side, my childhood, the womb, my past lives, the collective. And I realize that it's all belonged to these places.
Mm-hmm.
Be aligned and free of the conditioning and more aligned with the flow of the river that's happening in life, because creation is a flow. Another part which I feel is important and the collective can handle at the moment is the information that we don't need to complete. We don't have to keep repeating karmic cycles. We can go direct. We can break all the karmic cycles at the moment. I did a webinar recently on that. So we can go direct through the karmic cycles because we've been conditioned to go, start making transition and repeat another karmic cycle. We don't have to do that at all. At all. We can go direct. We can go into wholeness straight away. We don't have to come back like that.
That's amazing. So everyone, I hope so they're hearing that. We don't have to come back again and repeating that a karmic. No, we don't. Let's go release it. Let's go clear it up.
That's another level of conditioning which we can break completely out from the system and change.
Yeah, that's so many and deep. Is anything helped you during the challenging, bumpy time in your life? Any kind of affirmation, any kind of the maybe songs, anything, maybe read the book, maybe kind of the people you just when you met.
So for me, it's to accept, as I say, it's about the acceptance of where I'm at and something greater happening, that even though I'm having a really rough time today, I know it will pass. And I know I'm never going backwards, even though it seems like an old topic again that it doesn't mean I haven't cleared it. It just means I'm ready to go deeper. So every time, oh yeah, this is important. So there's chaos, okay? I'm very comfortable with chaos. Chaos is my friend because chaos opens when the breakdown of systems.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
So when I'm at the end of a cycle, the cycle will always bring me into chaos, but chaos is coming in because my programming is being disconnected. I always say, I'm comfortable with chaos. And I know when there's chaos, all I can do is go for a walk, meditate, go for a swim, and just wait, because I know it will pass at some stage. But I cannot push the system when there's chaos active in my life. There's moments at the beginning of a cycle where I can go in with a magnifying glass into a topic and look into it. But then there's a moment in the cycle where I've released a lot of stuff and now I'm in chaos, because chaos is when the systems are collapsing. And all I need to do is imagine myself like the tornado. I'm in the eye of the storm, and just simply be in life, give yourself space and wait, because it will pass.
Beautifully. Yeah, that will pass and they bring you the new vibration and new you. Definitely. Where the people can find you if they would like to join your beautiful workshop, like you mentioned, next Saturday, or this Saturday is coming?
Not this Saturday, I'm doing one next Saturday. There's a lot of on my website, Damien Wynne. You'll see it there. There's a lot of free webinars. I always like to give out to balance the work as well. So I have a lot of free webinars. If anyone wants to take part of them, they're all on my website, the links. Because when I work, I was told by Spirit, always record it, because what happens is you're immersing yourself in frequencies, which it takes sometimes, when you sit in it the first time, you sort of like time to accept, and then you go in again and it gets more and more and more, but it's really stepping into yourself. So all the webinars are recorded. There's a lot on my website. And there's some that are for purchase. There's teaching ones too, where it's teaching how to do the work I'm doing. And then I've one coming up, not this weekend, the following weekend, just dropped in this morning. Always it drops true what the title of each one. So that's on value, which I feel is really crucial. I worked with the last one was the karmic cycles, breaking the karmic cycles and your intuition, which was really powerful because that's where we're at. And now for me, it's about leveling up with ourselves to honor that I am the creator, that I have mastered creation already, that I am, lovable, 100% lovable, in the system, and I can love back. So it's resonating that I'm there already. So that's what I become. So be clear on whatever is in the way of that, to remember to accept that part and to allow that part through me. But I say, you usually announce them on Instagram as well and leave the links there if you want to see my Instagram or YouTube channel. But it's all on the website, actually. If you feel resonance to it.
Yeah, but also you're offering your one-to-one session, isn't it? Because I just only want to check your website. I just only read everything step by step. I was so curious what else you can offer for the people. So if they will be drawn to one-to-one, they can contact with you as well.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. The one-to-one sessions are for life changes.
Well, we need the life changes.
So
we need them more.
So that's why I open a space for for the impossible to happen. You know, it's like I opened this space for transformation, life change in the system. So I do sessions as well and coaching as well.
And also, I just only seen the workbook, work journaling on your website. I was in the German language.
Yeah, it's in German actually. I have a few books out in Germany. They're not translated to English yet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, not yet. Okay, so yeah, English language is in the standing in the line and just waiting in the queue. Okay, for the turn. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
through the webinars, it's interesting. It's a field of conscious, like-minded people who are willing to look at their system, to transform the system, and it's a container which creates transformation. So that's the webinar space that I'm setting the intention to hold each time.
Good. Oh my goodness. Good. Amazing. So I'm inviting everyone to go and have a look, Damien website, and just only sign up for the webinar. That's a beautifully, I would like to say for you who is watching, guys, is really, really, really beneficial for your mind, body, soul, spirit, whatever you're going to name it. And you don't have to be, I would like to say, in the spiritual level, like high advanced spiritual, because we are all the spiritual people, but we don't know yet. We are so much drawn to the spirituality. But yeah, anyway, just go and have a look and search. Maybe something really resonates with you, with your soul. So thank you so much, Damien, for coming and sharing your knowledge and information.
Thank you for opening this space and for being here and doing the work that you're doing and sharing the gifts that you have with all of us. So yeah, thank you. And thank you everyone for sharing this time and space that we spent together.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love what you said. Like, I've had people who walked, I remember one time I was working in Germany and someone was bringing tea into the room that we worked in, and this person just walked across the back of the workshop and she got more out of the workshop than everybody else. She got full activation. So everyone will find or who they're meant to be with at a specific moment in their life, and they don't have to. A lot of people I work with, they don't do any work on themselves whatsoever, but they're feeling a call to it, and that's where their system activates, and you can clear so much so fast in this field at the moment. So don't worry if you haven't done any work or anything on yourself with this type of work. If you feel drawn, I work a lot with doctors and surgeons and that, and they've never done this work, but they just feel drawn and we connect, amazing things happen. So if you feel a calling, it's really, I'd say, if you feel a calling, and we're all meeting the right people at the right time in our lives to remember who we are and to carry each other home.
Yeah, that's my mantra. And every morning I get just talking to the spirit. Right place, right people, right circumstances, please. Just only mix it, just only thrilling. I don't know how. That's your work. I'm just only willing to open to receive it. And then boom, I'm just going, you got it. Yeah. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Gabriela.
Thank you.